This is the coffee pot at work. Listen to it perk. Look at the coffee as it gets darker and stronger. Smell the honest coffee smell. Ah, smell it. But will this cup of coffee taste as good as it smells? You bet it will, because it's Maxwell House, the coffee that tastes as good as it smells every time. Maxwell House coffee tastes as good as it smells every time. If you like to look at good coffee, listen to good coffee, smell good coffee, and taste good coffee, brew Maxwell House, the coffee that tastes as good as it smells every time. Maxwell House is good to the last drop. It tastes as good as it smells every time. Maxwell House.
I tend to rise early, yet am not really a morning person. My first act is to brew a pot of coffee. As it brews, I use the time to contemplate. For years now, every morning, staring at my coffee pot, I've contemplated one thing. Why do I have a drip coffee maker when my parents had only a percolator, a vastly inferior way to make coffee? This started me on a quest for an answer. After much work, I now have the answer. Baseball. I will explain, but first a bit of history about coffee making. Today's machines are automatic drip coffee makers. This is the best way to make coffee, but until now it's been too demanding to do well. You start with water that is exactly 12 degrees below boiling, then pour it slowly over ground coffee beans encased in a filter. Usually the filter was cloth, which contaminated the coffee unless cleaned every day. This was too much for most people, so home coffee making was dominated by the percolator. The percolator had the virtue of being automatic, but the negative was terrible coffee, often described by coffee lovers as sludge. We all love hearing the perk of a percolator, but it's actually a bad thing. The perk comes from the boiling water, which is too hot for making good coffee. Each time the water perks through the grounds, the coffee becomes more bitter. A taste so bitter that the percolator drove coffee sales to an all-time low by the mid-1960s. In that decade, the Bunn Company of Springfield, Illinois, perfected an automatic drip coffee maker for restaurants. They replaced the cloth filter with a disposable paper one, and they perfected a way to boil the water and cool it slightly before dripping it slowly through the coffee beans. This restaurant model made 5 pots at once, but it opened the door to making a home version. In 1972, Vincent Marotta of Cleveland, Ohio, designed the Mr. Coffee machine, the first home drip coffee maker. The key to its success was baseball. Marotta felt he needed a big name to turn generations of percolator users onto drip coffee makers. Marotta, who'd played with the St. Louis Cardinals, turned to his hero, Joe DiMaggio, the pride of the Yankees. Now, at this time, DiMaggio wasn't just an ordinary sports figure. He was a legend with a bit of mystery due to his brief marriage with Marilyn Monroe. Marotta somehow got DiMaggio's unlisted phone number in San Francisco and called one Saturday morning. DiMaggio answered. After Marotta pitched his ad campaign, DiMaggio told him he'd just won a Mr. Coffee machine in a golf tournament and said his sister is making coffee with it right now. Yet the ex-baseball star wasn't interested in being in a commercial, saying, "I don't do that kind of work." The next day, Marotta and his wife flew to San Francisco, where Marotta called DiMaggio again and invited him to lunch. DiMaggio agreed. During lunch, Joe DiMaggio's expression barely changed, yet when they shook hands after the meal, he agreed to make the commercials. And these commercials, with the integrity of Joe DiMaggio behind them, put Mr. Coffee on the map and coffee makers into nearly every American home. Watch this Engineer Guy video to see the ingenious pumping mechanism in a coffee maker.
Many connoisseurs agree that Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is one of the world's best. It is a signature, elite, rare coffee. But what exactly is it? Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee can claim its origins from a decision taken by a French king in the 18th century. In 1723, King Louis XV sent 3 coffee plants to the French colony of Martinique, 1,900 kilometers southwest of Jamaica. 5 years later, in 1728, Sir Nicholas Laws, governor of Jamaica, received a gift of 1 coffee plant from the governor of Martinique. The rest is history. This 1 plant was nurtured and a plantation grown. Within 9 years, the first coffee was exported and the Jamaican coffee industry was born. Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is a globally protected certification mark for coffee that comes from the Blue Mountain area of Jamaica. Arabica coffee loves the nitrogen and phosphorus-rich soil of Jamaica, and nowhere else better than the steep elevations of the Blue Mountains. Located north of Kingston on the eastern side of the island, the Blue Mountains rise to altitudes of 2,350 meters. The coffee being cultivated is mostly Arabica typica, The coffee thrives in the fertile volcanic soil with its regular rainfall and, most importantly, under the island's misty cloud cover to shade it from the burning sun. All these factors combine to yield a coffee of exceptional sweetness and aroma, rich flavour and full body with mild acidity. No wonder then that James Bond called it the most delicious in the world in Ian Fleming's novel Live and Let Die. The result is what many regard as the best coffee in the world, and the champagne of coffees. The area where Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee plants are cultivated is strictly controlled, with exportable annual production at between 1,000 and 1,350 metric tons, tiny by world standards, and equivalent to just 0.1% of Colombian production, or, put another way, equivalent to 3 hours of Colombian coffee production. Indeed, to be called Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, it must be grown at altitudes of up to 1,800 metres in the parishes of Portland, St Andrew, St Mary and St Thomas. Comprising an area of some 6,000 hectares, coffee farming in the Blue Mountains is characterised by mostly small holdings of up to 4 hectares, but there are larger estates of up to 70 hectares in size. There are around 25,000 smallholders and estates in total. Highlighting its scarcity and exclusivity is the fact that Jamaica Blue Mountain is the only coffee in the world to be packed in iconic wooden barrels instead of Hessian sacks. All Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee must go through the Coffee Industry Board, where the green coffee is rigorously inspected as to screen size, colour, humidity, defects and cup quality before it's passed and certified for export. This can take time and cause delays, but quality is paramount and strictly controlled, ensuring that all export-grade Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is of the highest quality. So what's your name?
It's Debbie.
Debbie. And so how do you sort the beans?
Well, actually you just dry it down and you take out all of the colored one, the rotten teeth one, and any one that has borer in it.
So, for example, which one would that be?
This one would be a black one. This one would be a rotten teeth one. So you have to take out those from it, from the good one.
Today, with annual production of Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee remaining very low, Jamaica Blue Mountain remains as ever elusive, luxurious, treasured and delicious. Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is imported into Europe from the main processor producers, namely Clydesdale, Mavis Bank, Wallingford Coffee Company and Gold Cup, as well as the 2 principal estates with export licenses, Clifton Mount Estate and RSW Estates. Mavis Bank is an old and revered name in Jamaican coffee. Mavis Bank maintains their pulpery and dry mill jointly in St Andrews in the Blue Mountains. The Wallingford Coffee Company is also a long-established player. Wallingford have their pulperies in the Blue Mountains and their dry mill close to Kingston, which is the largest facility of its kind in Jamaica. Clydesdale is a more recently established producer, which has swiftly, together with Mavis Bank, become the largest exporters of Jamaica Blue Mountain. Pulping takes place in the mountains at their Clifton Mount facility. The processing is undertaken at the Blue Mountain Coffee Processors facility in Kingston. Gold Cup is the brand name for the coffees from Mount Lebanon Estate and Abbey Green Estate owned by Dr. Charles Lynn. The farms are located in the region of St. Thomas Parish. Founded in the mid-18th century, Clifton Mount Estate is situated in St Andrew in the most spectacularly beautiful location in the Blue Mountains on the eastern slope of St Catherine's Peak. RSW Estates actually comprise 3 estates. Resource Estate is located at an altitude of 1,200 metres above the Yalas River. Sherwood Forest Estate, with an area of over 400 hectares, is one of the largest intact original Blue Mountain coffee plantations. Whitfield Hall Estate is in the heart of the Blue Mountains, just below the Blue Mountain Peak, the highest mountain in the Blue Mountains. The processors operate a pricing regime combined with a pre-funding and balancing payment mechanism which categorically favours the smallholder farmer. The Coffee Industry Board also operates an insurance scheme to assist farmers in time of hurricanes and other catastrophes. Extension and technical services are also offered to the farmers both by the Coffee Industry Board and by the processor exporters. In the case of the larger farms, which sell to the processors, the workers are paid and employed under conditions regulated by strict Jamaican labour legislation. In this regard, wage and benefit levels are significantly higher compared with South American coffee industry norms. The workers come from neighbouring communities, and in most cases, accommodation, education and medical facilities are nearby and have reasonable and accessible infrastructure. In environmental terms, the coffee is grown under naturally shaded and fauna-friendly conditions. As the coffee is wet processed, all the wastewater resulting from the coffee processing is fully treated and purified before being released into the environment. Composting and waste mucilage recycling are also becoming the norm. Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee has a subtle, sophisticated cup. An exquisite balance of aroma, body and acidity is combined to make Jamaica Blue Mountain a very special coffee. But it is the mellow, sweet and creamy aftertaste that separates this unique coffee from all others, with a mild, smooth acidity and hints of chocolate with floral undertones. No wonder it has been the quintessential connoisseur favourite for so many years.
Take a little bit of the flour down, otherwise it's going to be too much. And it's hard to make a complicated pattern. It's too much flour milk. Just keep watching at the point line. Make it small. You mix the milk with the coffee. When you want to start, okay, now you get the base and you can start it straight away. Okay, this first one. Second one. Hard after this, but this is how you do it. It's the 8% So basically, keep watching this one. When you want to make a pattern, you go close to the surface. Go very close to the surface, and then make it bigger. Yeah. So we don't have to explain, but if you watch that one, you're gonna know it's better.
Recording, sure? Yeah, I got it. All right. Happy birthday to you. Guys, what is it? Let's go. Let's go. Jesus. What the? What is that thing?
I think it's one of those coffee things.
What is that? Holy shit. Oh my. Ah! Ah! It's shooting! Run! Run! Let's go! Oh my God! What is that thing? Come on, get out of here! Run! Oh, shit! Jerry! Jeez!
We have to go!
No, don't go! No! Don't go! No! Cheryl! Thank you, sir! Which way? Which way? No! Please, no more! Go!
Say, who gets to make the coffee in your house? Well, you know, more often than not, when it's coffee time in this household, I get to make it. Of course, the fact that my wife lets me make the coffee tells you how amazing instant Maxwell House must be. And believe me, this really is amazing. It's a completely different kind of coffee. Here, take a look for yourself underneath this magnifying glass. Now, you can see it's not a powder, not a grind either, but millions of tiny hollow flavor buds of real coffee, formed this way to capture and preserve that famous Maxwell House flavor. Now, these miracle flavor buds burst instantly the moment you pour in hot water, flooding the pot with that wonderful, good to the last drop flavor. I want to tell you that is real coffee, as delicious as the best cup of coffee you ever have brewed. What's more, with this large jar, you save money, you know. Up to 75 cents compared to 3 pounds of ground coffee means that Instant Maxwell House costs you less per cup. So this is Rex Marshall reminding you, no matter who makes the coffee in your house, the secret of coffee that's good to the very last drop is right in this jar with the stars on top. Instant Maxwell House, the amazing coffee discovery.